Jiwoo Park was the face of flawless beauty until her products started scarring customers. Her chemist turned up dead, and she vanished without a trace. In 2017, Jiwoo Park launched a skincare brand called Lumière Skin from a tiny one-room studio apartment in Seoul. At just 27 years old, she combined her love of traditional Korean beauty rituals with a sharp understanding of social media marketing. Her products, packaged in sleek glass bottles with minimalist design, promised radiant, glassy skin using all natural ingredients. Jiwoo's flagship product, a serum made from fermented ginseng and glacier water, claimed to reverse visible signs of aging in just 2 weeks. It was an instant hit. Influencers posted glowing reviews, and customers shared dramatic before and after photos online. The company exploded in popularity, quickly expanding across South Korea and into global markets like Japan, the United States, and the Middle East. Jiwoo was hailed as a genius. Business magazines called her the next beauty mogul. She gave carefully crafted interviews where she talked about her childhood, her obsession with skincare, and her desire to make women feel beautiful. Her story was inspirational, a self-made success who disrupted an industry dominated by giants. Her fans admired her for being hands-on, humble, and hardworking. To the outside world, Jiwoo was the perfect face of her brand, fresh, glowing, and flawless. Behind the carefully curated image, Lumière Skin was racing to keep up with its own growth. Orders doubled every month, and the pressure to produce quickly became overwhelming. Manufacturing moved from Jiwoo's local lab to a larger facility outside of Busan. Her small team expanded to include investors, consultants, and foreign partners. But with speed came shortcuts. Jiwoo was no longer approving every formula or batch. Her role shifted from creator to CEO, and decisions were made in boardrooms rather than skincare counters. Still, the momentum never slowed. By 2019, Lumière had launched in over 15 countries. Celebrities endorsed the products and pop stars mentioned it in interviews. The brand's name became synonymous with quality and elegance. Jiwoo bought a penthouse in Gangnam and appeared on magazine covers. Her story was a dream come true, but only from the outside. Unseen by the public, the company had started receiving quiet complaints. A few customers mentioned skin irritation. Others claimed their orders didn't match the listed ingredients. But the marketing machine kept moving. There was no time to stop. And Jiwoo, now deep in the world of billion-won contracts and global distribution, didn't notice the cracks forming beneath the surface. As Lumière Skin soared in popularity, signs of trouble began to surface, though they were subtle at first. In late 2019, whispers of product inconsistencies started to appear on niche beauty forums. A handful of users posted photos of rashes, peeling skin, and unexpected breakouts after using the brand's best-selling serum. The reactions were brushed off by customer service as rare cases of sensitivity. The company's official stance was that the complaints were either fake or due to counterfeit products circulating online. Influencers, still under contract, stayed silent or deleted negative comments from their posts. Inside the company, however, unease was growing. The pace of expansion had outstripped the quality control systems in place. To meet global demand, Jiwoo's team had outsourced manufacturing to a third-party facility known for low-cost, high-volume output. The switch was never publicly disclosed. Only a few top executives were aware of the formula changes, which included substituting key natural extracts with cheaper synthetic alternatives. The head chemist, Min-Sik Jang, kept detailed records of these modifications. He was meticulous and deeply concerned, noting that certain chemical preservatives being used hadn't passed safety standards in Europe or the US. He raised these concerns in internal reports, but no action was taken. Deadlines were more important than caution. Tension between Jiwoo and Min-Sik grew. Once close collaborators, they now barely spoke. Jiwoo had become distant, absorbed in media appearances and investor meetings. Min-Sik, meanwhile, documented everything: emails, test results, conversations. He began backing up files onto encrypted drives and storing copies at his apartment. He told no one, not even his closest colleagues. He knew too much and feared what might happen if the truth got out. In June 2020, Min-Sik didn't show up for work. He didn't answer calls or messages. At first, co-workers assumed he had quit or taken leave. But days passed, and no one could reach him. When police visited his apartment, They found it unlocked, eerily clean, with no signs of a struggle. His phone was left on the table. His laptop was gone. A missing person report was filed, but there were no leads. Jiwoo issued a vague statement expressing sadness and promised full cooperation with authorities. But behind closed doors, she instructed the company's legal team to erase references to Min-sik from public-facing documents. The lab was reorganized. Safety protocols were rewritten. And just like that, the man who had helped build Lumiere's glowing image was gone, leaving behind nothing but questions. In March 2021, a short, shaky video surfaced on a Korean whistleblower site. It showed a dimly lit warehouse, shelves stacked with rusting metal barrels labeled with industrial chemical codes. Several of the boxes bore the Lumière Skin logo. The footage was grainy, but the contents were unmistakable hazardous substances sitting next to branded cosmetic packaging. Within hours, the clip had gone viral on social media. Beauty influencers who once praised Lumière deleted their endorsements. Customers demanded answers. News outlets picked up the story, and the public's trust began to collapse. An anonymous email was sent to multiple journalists. The subject line read, "Min-sik didn't disappear. He was erased." Attached were scanned documents, purchase orders for banned preservatives, manipulated lab reports, and internal memos showing pressure to ship products despite failed tests. The evidence was overwhelming. For the first time, authorities opened a formal investigation into Lumière Skin. Health regulators raided the Seoul headquarters and manufacturing plant, seizing documents, computers, and samples. Jiwoo Park remained silent. Her legal team issued a brief statement denying any wrongdoing and attributing the warehouse video to a smear campaign by competitors. But behind the scenes, damage control was in full swing. She liquidated some assets and transferred key operations to a newly registered company in Malaysia. Her public appearances stopped completely. Then, a body was discovered in the Han River. It had been wrapped in plastic and weighed down with bricks. Decomposition made identification difficult, but dental records confirmed the worst. It was Min-sik Jang. He had been dead for over a year, likely killed shortly after he vanished. An autopsy revealed bruising around the neck and broken ribs, suggesting he had been beaten before being dumped. Police reopened the missing person case as a homicide investigation. The news ignited nationwide outrage. Protesters gathered outside Lumière's flagship store in Gangnam. Victims who had suffered skin damage began to speak out. A class action lawsuit formed almost overnight. Journalists dug into the company's past and uncovered other employees who had left under mysterious circumstances. One had been hit by a car weeks after raising safety concerns. Another had suffered a severe allergic reaction to a lab sample not meant for human use. The glow of Lumière Skin was no longer alluring. It was radioactive. And at the center of it all stood Jiwoo, silent, untouchable, and increasingly isolated from the empire she once ruled. After the discovery of Min-sik Jang's body, public attention intensified. Journalists began investigating his final weeks, speaking to former colleagues, neighbors, and anyone connected to Lumière Skin. A major breakthrough came when police returned to Min-sik's apartment to re-examine the scene. In a routine sweep, an officer noticed a cracked ceiling tile in the bedroom. Behind it, taped to the beams, was a small SD card sealed in a waterproof pouch. The contents of the card were explosive. It held surveillance-style footage from inside Lumière's laboratory, showing Jiwoo Park in meetings with senior staff. In one clip, she reviewed the performance of the serum, demanding faster production timelines and longer shelf life. When a technician raised concerns about using an unapproved chemical stabilizer, Jiwoo was seen instructing him to make it work or be replaced. Another file was a spreadsheet detailing alterations to product formulas, with bold red notes indicating which batches would be shipped under false certification. Also found on the card were personal notes from Min-sik, dated weeks before his disappearance. He had documented specific dates, shipment IDs, and even the names of distribution partners who received contaminated products. He expressed fear that something might happen to him and left a clear message: "If I vanish, this wasn't an accident." The evidence triggered new arrests. 2 high-level Lumière executives were taken into custody, charged with corporate fraud and obstruction. Their statements confirmed that Jiwoo had been directly involved in approving dangerous ingredients, despite full knowledge of the risks. Investigators began tracing Lumière's entire supply chain, uncovering a hidden network of shell companies that Jiwoo had used to purchase and reroute banned substances from countries with loose regulations. The documents also revealed a chilling pattern. 18 former employees had filed internal complaints over a span of 2 years. 6 of them had left the company abruptly. 2 were involved in suspicious accidents. 1 remained hospitalized in a vegetative state. The pattern suggested more than corporate negligence, it hinted at systematic silencing. Public opinion turned hostile. Street murals that once celebrated Jiwoo's success were defaced overnight. Public figures condemned her. The government initiated a nationwide review of cosmetic safety regulations, citing the Lumière case as a turning point. Despite the mounting evidence and arrest warrants, Jiwoo Park had disappeared. Her home was empty, her bank accounts were frozen, and her last known location was at a private airport 2 weeks earlier. She had vanished again, just as the truth began to surface. 6 months passed, and Jiwoo Park remained missing. Despite being the subject of an international manhunt, no credible sightings had been confirmed. Authorities suspected she had used false identification and private networks to flee the country. Her digital footprint vanished: no emails, no financial activity, no travel records. Interpol added her to its red notice list, but Jiwoo seemed to exist in the shadows now, invisible yet dangerously present. Then came a chilling twist. A Lumière investor known to have been in close contact with Jiwoo during the early days of the scandal was found dead in a luxury hotel in Singapore. His cause of death: poisoning by a rare, nearly undetectable toxin. Security cameras captured a woman in a black hoodie entering his suite hours before he was discovered. Though her face was obscured, gait analysis matched Jiwoo's walking pattern from earlier press footage. Investigators believed it was her, striking to silence another potential leak. This event reignited global interest in the case. Journalists across Asia and Europe began probing deeper, uncovering links to offshore accounts, newly formed companies with disguised names, and beauty products appearing under different branding but with identical formulas to Lumière's banned items. It became clear Jiwoo hadn't disappeared, she had evolved. In online forums, former Lumière customers began reporting suspiciously similar skincare lines popping up under different names in Southeast Asia and the Middle East, all using sleek marketing and the same claims of natural Korean beauty. Back in South Korea, the fallout continued. Victims of the serum scandal joined a massive class action lawsuit, and a nationwide crackdown on cosmetic manufacturers began. The beauty industry, once admired for its innovation, was now being scrutinized for its lack of transparency. Jiwoo's empire had collapsed, but her influence had not been erased. The final blow came when authorities discovered a private wellness clinic in the Philippines offering high-end skin treatments to wealthy clients. Its founder, an unverified woman going by the name Unibeek, bore a striking resemblance to Jiwoo, albeit with cosmetic alterations. By the time the location was raided, she was gone. The Lumière scandal left behind more than damaged skin and lost trust. It left a legacy of fear, deception, and unanswered questions. Jiwoo Park became a ghost in the global beauty world. Her face changed, her name erased, but her shadow still lingering wherever a too good to be true serum is sold.